Welcome back to Benji's Corner Podcast, Season 2, Episode 2, Part 2. Today it is with great honor to share this time and space with the one and only Me Free Lee. I hope his story inspires you to chase your dreams and to keep running free. With God, all things are possible. Please be sure to like, share, and subscribe as we continue to bring you great content and stories. Thank you in advance for all your support.
Hey, yo, it's your boy Benji. I'ma need y'all to support my brother Me Free Lee. You feel me? He running across America. I'ma need y'all to go ahead and scan that QR code. We got the GoFundMe right there. You can scan the one right next to it. That's to his Facebook. You know what I'm saying? We just supporting good vibes, good people, and, doing good things, Just, thank you for watching and tuning in today. You don't know how much you are truly appreciated. You know what I'm saying? Like, y'all been on this journey with me, and as we get into his testimony, what he's doing, just sit back, grab you some popcorn. You know what I'm saying? And let's get it. Hey yo, it's your boy Benji.
Finally, my only advice to my brothers and sisters coming up: when your father asks you to do something, do it proudly, with a willingness like no other, because he notices those things, the little things. So don't complain, don't stomp your feet. Do it as though it's him you're doing it for, because it is. Acknowledge your father in your actions by the way of your willingness. This is not the end, only the beginning. I'm excited and willing for what he has for me after GCL Live. Now it's time. Thank you, Jesus, and thank you all.
Hallelujah! Today's podcast is brought to you by our sponsor, Saved by Grace Living. Embracing love, building dreams.
So that purpose is fulfilling inside, and it's the right purpose.
Yeah.
So I think that we all could go and do whatever we want out there, but why are you doing it? Do you feel complete in doing it?
Yeah.
You
feel
right.
like,
Do
your
you-
heart full.
When you're making that money, when you're walking out there to your job, is it fulfilling inside of you, or are you just doing it for certain reason? Because if you are, yeah, you'll still get paid, but are you fulfilled? Are you happy? And I think that that's what a lot of people are feeling today. Yes, I'm going out there doing the things, but am I just a walking zombie, or am I really enjoying by being fulfilled and living the life that God wants me to? And I think that the analogy I have is just, I used to run, but now I run, but there's a difference. It's not how like it was before. With I ran before, it felt empty. Yes, I was getting them. I was doing a lot of things, but I came back. I held my medal. I was like, yeah, I'm happy for today. But the next day, I'm like, you know what? Let's. So it's just. But now, I run, even if I don't get a medal, I'm fulfilled, bro. That's the difference. That's the biggest difference, because um, I could still run, but what's behind it? Are you fulfilled in that? And you could use that in everything you do. Like if you walk out of here, Benji, and you go do something, think about it. Think about, how do I feel about this? Am I doing the thing that God wants me to? Am I being fulfilled? Do I feel fulfilled this in my life? And it'll make you think twice about it, Benji. You'll be like, no, I shouldn't do this because I don't feel like this is. It's not that you feel, but you don't have that in you, that fulfillment, And when you don't have that, don't do it, because I used to do that. I used to just go to the liquor store and forget my problems, and
You were just numbing and avoiding
even
the things in
bro,
life.
even if you feel empty, you didn't care,
Yeah.
and that's already the first red flag, is I'm feeling empty, but you're like, screw it.
Because like people don't realize, like when you're in addiction, right? Like it's like how where you don't care about your own life, and there's times when you don't care if you live or die. You know what I'm saying? And it's like that's not healthy. And like the fact that where for anybody that's in addiction, like I've heard of people going to so many different treatments and stuff, and hey, get help however you can, but like try to make sure that you got God in there. You know what I'm saying? Because that's who took away my addiction. That's who I feel like he literally reached down and was like, yep, all that, hood through the
Yeah.
fire, and was like, but this, he's like, I could work with this. I could work with
Yeah.
you, Ricky. Because like that made me think. So because I don't want people just to think that we're like, like while running is a major part of your life, a good night, like, what I'm saying, a great pillar, so is God.
Right now.
And like, and then God, he's intertwined them together.
Yeah.
And so like when you're on your run across America, my first question would be, do you have like a starting point of where kind of like a few ideas of where you may want to, is it going Los Angeles to New York City? Is it going top to bottom? Is it kind of just, you got like a circuit, anything like that, as far as your mission
Yeah.
or your plan?
Yeah. Yeah. I would love to answer that. Uh, so at first, I was thinking maybe start out on the West Coast
Okay.
and go east,
Yeah.
because it's warmer, and
Yeah.
but in California. But then I researched it, and according to the seasons,
Mm.
it gets too hot.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, if I
Yeah.
start out there, especially in the spring, and so
Oh,
I
okay.
mean, and so I'm gonna start on the East Coast.
Yeah. Okay.
So Ocean City, Maryland. Do you
Ocean
know?
City, Maryland.
I
I
don't
know
know.
Maryland, but
Yeah, do you know where that is,
no.
Benji?
I'm about
It's
to look
right.
at it.
It's right. It's a little city. It's a city right by the ocean, the Atlantic Ocean.
Okay.
So,
So Ocean City, Maryland. Hey, look, when he comes
yeah,
to your city, be sure to, what I'm saying, get in tune with bro. Because look, in the not just as Christians, like, because that's a major part as well. Brother in Christ here, and as just a good community, a nice, like when like, I'm trying to find the words, but there's not enough words to say how we're just the goodness of God.
yeah,
I pray is with you, and for those who are watching, because like when you're on your journey, right, you can direct them like, "Hey, yo, go check back out. I said this where I'm starting," and they'll be able to see your journey from the beginning, from when you start.
yeah,
And it made me think. So when you're on your journey and you're running, right, Ocean City, Maryland, um, I know you're still gonna be what so I know you always got your word with you. We keep a sword
yeah,
with us. But are you gonna be like going to churches like along your journey, or are you gonna be kind of something like that, or
yeah.
what's your thoughts on that?
So I, you know what, bro? I looked up the TC, and to
Yeah,
my surprise, I did not realize that there was so many TCs
yeah,
around the country, bro.
yeah, bro. We're everywhere.
Yeah, and you know what? There's only one TCLI though. I
Yeah,
will
yeah,
say
yeah. Of
that there's
course,
only one
yes.
T.
It's only one TCLI.
Yeah, but there's a bunch of TC, and so that's a quick plug for TCLI, right?
Yeah, hey, TCLI.
So, um, anyways, my thing was I want to hit certain TCs,
Oh yeah.
and say this is the reason why I'm running. This is the reason why I'm a graduate alumni of Teen Challenge myself. I want to stop by and tell you guys the reason why I'm running. And I know that there's a lot of short-termer guys that are coming up that maybe if it doesn't speak to five people, it'll speak to one person, bro. And I had
Mm-hmm.
that in my life, my walk in short term. So not only am I gonna run, I'm gonna reach out to those, and I have a few lists of them right through the heartland of
Nice.
the country.
Yeah.
And so I actually have the list, but I'm gonna try to reach out to the directors of those programs and say, you know what, this is who I am. I'm gonna stop by, probably share a word, a message, an encouragement
Yeah.
to the brothers and brothers there, or even sisters if they have that, and just to tell them to that yes, it might seem bleak, it might seem dim, dark right now, but keep trucking along because God is there and He's holding your hand. So it's funny you asked that because that's in the plans too.
Yeah.
Yeah, to reach out to those TC and kind
Hey.
of and one other thing, Benji, is that not just we're not just gonna close it to you know um to just TC guys. Anybody that that is looking for hope or wants to be a part of this, I will post up where I'm coming through. And if you just want to get out, put on your running shoes, go with me for a mile.
What?
Yeah, bro.
What?
And
Okay.
just kind of like run with me and just say, hey, you know what? I saw what you're doing. I see what you're doing, and I want to come out and just support you and run and get in shape and just be there with you, bro. That's
They
yeah.
could do the y'all here, come run with me,
So
bro.
I'm gonna
Hey,
start a little map where I'm going and where I'm gonna be heading towards. And so if I'm in your city, just say, you know what, he's coming through. We're gonna run with him for you don't even have to run, maybe like just a mile, whatever you can, and just run and be like, hey, you know what, we're here as unity together.
yes,
And so that's not even, you don't even have to go to a TC. You don't even have to be at a church. You could just see me out on the streets, and that's what I love. It's just being out there on the streets and people coming up and we running together and just making it, some sort of fellowship through that way on the streets.
yeah,
And one thing I want to tell you, Benji, is that for me, like running, being out on the streets, that's where I have to be as part of like spreading the gospel and the word, because that's where the people are.
yeah.
Because bro, when I came to TCLI here in Minneapolis, I looked at Minneapolis, it was overwhelming and intimidating.
I was culture shocked too, bro.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
coming from Duluth, spending a year up in Duluth and coming down here, I look at this big city. But you know what, bro? I got my running shoes on and I just started running. And you know what? Every day, every mile that I ran, the city got smaller, smaller, and less intimidating. And the
yeah,
people became family. The people
yeah.
I see on the streets, they ask me, they're like, why are you running every day at 4 in the morning? And then I tell them, I'm just like, I'm down the block at TCLI. And they're like, oh, okay. And they're like, why are you running? So I tell them about my story and they're like, okay, well, pray. I asked them if I could pray for them. And I've done that.
Yeah,
And
yo.
so you don't realize that you got to get out there to
Yeah,
where the people are. I, that's why running, it kind of is, it simplifies everything. I'm out there running. I get to know the city. I get to know the people. You don't know a community until you get out there, bro.
yeah.
The only way I know how for me is just putting on my running shoes and getting out there, meeting the people, seeing them, letting them see you, and not
Yeah,
hiding in some room in some
right.
office and
Yeah, blinds
preaching.
closed.
Yeah. And so
Yeah,
being out there, I was like, you know what? The city, it became home to me. It became smaller. It became less intimidating. It became a place where now, as I'm transitioning out, I'm like, I'm gonna miss it. You know, you're
yeah,
like, I don't want to go, but a year ago I was intimidated, and so that's just the dynamic of how, you know if you how God works in your life. You got to get out there and meet the people and see what it's all about instead of just making assumptions and be like, nah, I don't want to, it's too dangerous out there. I don't want to go, though, it's too big, and you're missing so much. You got to go where the people are. And for me, um, it became my home. It became less intimidating and
yeah.
just being out there.
You adapted, became comfortable with it, and you
Yeah,
saw that
bro.
the people that embrace you. Like, I first learned about like doing outreach and stuff here because
Yeah.
we'll go down the street, we'll make sandwiches. Sometimes we'll just go stand in the corner with the microphone box. I don't know if you've had Brother Tomas's class.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
have.
yeah.
Yep.
And so we'll go out there and actually just talk to the people, and so I feel you on that. Where
When did
it's
you when did you have his, like, what year did you
this,
have your, what
so
season?
of a season.
Yeah, because
So
I was, the reason why I asked is because I had it in the dead in the winter, bro.
in the winter.
So if
This was
you know the winter, like, we're
yeah.
just out there chilling, bro, in the
This
cold.
this is like, okay. So let's see. I went in March. I'm gonna go back to 2022. Went in March, got out April 2023. Then so it'd be April, May, June, July, August. Oh, no, no. What's before April? March. Whatever month.
March,
Yeah. Okay. All right.
March.
So March. Okay. My bad. Came in March. I had, and then I was here till August. So I kind of got summer a little bit. It was warm. It
Oh,
was
okay,
warm.
okay. So
And
you had the good time
yeah,
to go
yeah,
out there.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
You know what, bro? That made a big difference though, because we were out there. I mean, bro, Tomas is excellent. He's out there, all fired up and ready to go. I love
Yeah,
Tomas, but we were just out there, and there wasn't much going on. And that was
yeah,
when I first started at TCLI too. So I was like, what are we doing?
Yeah.
But you know what? But I love that class, and Thomas is he's a great shout out to pain reliever, right?
Yeah, pain reliever,
Yeah.
St. Paul. Hey, we appreciate you. Know, like you said, Tomas, he's made an impact on both of our lives.
Yeah.
Like,
Bro, so I told Thomas this during I was in his class. I said that, bro, you know, I used to live on the east side, right?
yeah.
And I used to live right across from the pain reliever when it was still a strip joint, bro.
What?
Yeah.
Oh,
And
snaps.
I heard that we're not supposed to like go near it because it was a bad place. I didn't know exactly what it is
Yeah.
until like now, and then like I got older, and then I understand the concept of a strip joint. And so when I came here, and Thomas is like, yeah, my church is the pain reliever. I'm like, bro, I used to live there. But that's kind of cool how like God changes him into like the church, the place that
Yeah.
you never thought that it would be a church,
Ex-
right into a church.
Exactly.
You know, that's just crazy. You
How you
know,
could turn it around, like how
yeah,
places where when they think, like, I really like when it says God uses, say he'll use our mess for good. And like to
yeah,
actually like see it and experience, because like how we're, like when you think there's no way out, like I used to have a song, right? Like, cause
yeah,
I like to do music. I say, I used to like rap mostly, this and
yeah,
that, but
yeah,
like I would also like sing, and it's like where, so the chorus went like this. It was like, no way out, no way out. He's stuck in this game. He's got no way out. They holding him back. Oh yeah, they holding him down. Man, he's stuck in this game
yeah,
with no way out. And that was kind of the chorus. And it was like, I use the music as a form of expression,
right,
because like where, and like mind you, like bro, like I'm high, I'm drinking, I'm in my addiction, bro.
right,
Writing this music that's expressing how I feel like there's no way out. And it's like, I didn't feel like I was good enough for God. I knew he
yeah,
was good enough for me. You know what I'm saying? I
yeah,
know he
yeah,
wanted me to come to him, but I'm like, I can't come. God, look at how dirty I am. Look at my dirty rags,
yeah.
all
So what
this.
did the music do,
And,
bro?
and the music is like when I go back and listen to my songs now, right?
Yeah.
It's like now seeing how I was crying out to God in the music, you
Oh, okay,
know,
I get it.
and then seeing how he made a way out. He, what I'm saying, he turned my
Right.
tears into songs of joy.
Yeah.
It's
Wow, that's powerful because you were expressing the way you feel to God through music.
yeah,
Wow. That's
and
crazy, bro, because wow.
a lot of time, like how we're, like, so you have what's called like, like drill music, where mostly rapping about like guns and, saying
Yeah.
stuff like that, right? And that's just a form of expression of the life that they're living,
Yeah.
because
Yep.
they're in impoverished
Yeah.
areas and stuff like that. And then there's like other, like, a lot of the music, like in my like culture, it's like where we like sometimes we'll be explaining what we're going through, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
You can feel the pain when you hear it. You can
Yeah.
feel like when it's like, I'm lost. I feel like nobody's got my back. I don't know how to act. I'm out here, you know what I'm saying,
Right.
losing track. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Somebody explaining their mind is just off track and they don't know what to do.
Yeah.
And it's like where, some people, when they don't, like me, I never really saw people of God. I mean, don't get me wrong, I've seen people of God, but like I just couldn't connect. You know what I'm saying? It was
Yeah.
a me thing. It wasn't, nothing on them. It was on me. But like, as I've been going through this journey, seeing how we're, being able to connect with God and being around people of God, and it's
Yeah.
like a whole different life, and it's like you say, so much better on this side.
Yeah.
Like, and I think that we give that hope to people who are, watching us, people who are looking to us like, wait, hold on, you really went through it?
Yeah.
You really went through each step. You went through the heartbreaking moments. You went through the depression. You went through the feeling lost. You know what I'm saying? That dark place.
Yeah.
And then wait, now you're here.
Yeah.
When I like, what I'm saying, like when like you mentioned the speakers, because I remember the speakers at TC, and at first I was kind of like, nah, they ain't really do that. But
Yeah.
then like as I got to watching their stories and stuff like that, bro, I'd be like, wow,
Yeah.
okay, so it's like,
Yeah. Bro,
like,
you know what? It's you know what? I think that there's so many people that are expressing their the way they live through like music, and it would be so interesting to hear, that pain, that music that you're, doing, and
uh,
you're exactly right on that part. As in, because some of these guys, you look at them, you're like, no, no, no way he's been through what I've been through. But to find out that they've gone through worse than you,
yeah,
but they're sitting over here and they're all looking different, and you're like,
yeah,
there's no way this person went through what I did, like all that darkness that I've been through.
yeah,
But when they come and tell their story, you're like, wow, this dude was gone through even worse than I've gone through, and he's
yeah,
still standing here, and so you realize that, what, we're all the same. We all come from that darkness, but at the end, you know, we come out a little different because, and we're all in that journey together, you know, because I would tell you, Tommy T. Trzynski.
Oh, Trzynski,
Yeah,
yeah, okay,
have you heard
yeah.
his
His testimony?
yeah, about him losing a leg and stuff like that? Have you heard
Yeah,
that one?
yeah. Time when he was on a motorcycle,
Yeah,
and he was like
bro.
sitting there, he's like, I'm laying down, but I'm
Yeah,
looking at my leg. Yeah. So,
yeah,
hey, shout out to Tom too, man.
yeah. So I'm like, he first came and spoke. I first heard that up in Duluth when he came and spoke up there in chapel, and he told us his story. And I'm sitting there looking at Tommy T, and I'm like, there's no way this dude's been through the darkness that I've gone through. He looks all crisp and clean, and you know, and I'm like, there's no way this guy. But then he starts talking and telling his story. I'm like, wow, blown away by what he's gone through, you know. And then you realize, you know what? These people, they get it. They're just like me, you know. But so they've even gone in darker areas, and yet they're still here. And so you feel that connection right away when you hear their story.
Yeah.
And so don't ever look at somebody and be like, you know what, they don't know what I'm going through, because they do, you know, especially here
Yeah.
at TC.
Yeah,
I know that for sure.
yeah, it's helped me like not like judge people, because like, and
Yeah,
like how would you say, like we're growing up, you know what I'm saying, our families, it's a protection mechanism, you know,
yeah,
just because like when you're new to like different areas, like, you know, it's like your family, hey, you stick with your kind, you know,
right,
like where
right,
some, you look for people that look like you know, because maybe they would in hopes help
right.
you, because you know that, you know what I'm saying, it's a human thing, you know. And like I remember you said is it Hummung or is it Mung?
Mong.
Mung,
Yeah,
yeah. Like I remember, so I've been here so I'm from Detroit as well, right?
yeah,
And so but I've been moved, I was born in Burnsville, but I've been going back and forth, you know, for a while now, right? And so I remember seeing the first wave of when like Somalians were
you're
coming
right.
over, right?
Yeah,
And things like that, right? And then I remember, you know what I'm saying, having Hmong classmates and learning the difference between like Hmong, Vietnamese, Chinese,
yeah,
you know, the different types and like the cultures and stuff. And,
yeah,
you know, I've been like welcome in before, like where, you know, having the opportunity to like go and eat at their house, or, you know what I'm
yeah,
saying, have friends where they're like, you know, because like the way that my parents raised me, you know, they were like, you know, they would go to their parents, like, you know, like for example, like, you know, different cultures, sometimes if you're of a different race, right,
right.
like the parents would be like, no, just because that's just how they
Yeah,
were raised. But you know, they took a chance on me, and they were like,
yeah,
so I got to go over and see like that family,
nice.
you know. And that's, I always love like how we're, you know, it's like the traditions, you know, things like
Yeah,
that. And I always thought it was cool, you know.
yeah. Benji, let me
Yeah.
ask you something now that you brought that up. You growing up, did you have that on you too, to just hang around the type of person that
Yeah,
kind of looked like you?
yeah, yeah,
Did you
hang
have
around.
that too growing up?
Yeah, 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 most definitely. Like where, so it was like where, growing up, it was like, cause like for example, like my grandmother, she was a sharecropper. Her parent, I think the generation would be like her parents were like slaves, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So she's like going through the Jim Crow era, and she's you know what I'm saying, she's like, say like, you know, like the black or white fountains and stuff like that, and really experiencing segregation.
yeah,
And with that, there's the beautiful thing in that, right, is because like where I say, because of my grandmother, that's why I have a heart, because like even though she's gone through those things, she was always you know, telling me to be open with people, don't
yeah,
judge people, help
yeah,
people, like where she would like be taking the food out of our fridge and going to give it to people in need. So like that's I get my giving back from her. But
yeah,
I would say like as my culture though, so like in the home I was raised to you know, be open to people, you know what I'm
yeah,
saying, be able to go, like for example, like sometimes people like, why you talking white, Ricky, why you talking all this proper, this and that, like where but that's just because I was from the suburbs. So it's
yeah,
like you kind of adapt. But so I was too black for the white kids, and
yeah,
I was too white for the black kids. And you know what I'm saying? So with me, it was like people, they like to say like, oh, he was popular, this and that. I'm like, no, I feel like God just brought genuine people in my life.
yeah.
But like
Wow.
my culture though, you know, we stick to our own. Like a lot of times they say, oh, it's this white man, you know what I'm saying? This
Yeah,
white man is putting the black man down. And don't get me wrong, systematically, it's been engineered to not have people of my color achieve. Like when
yeah.
they do social experiments, right? They did one. I found this was on Monster, kind of like their online website for
Right.
job recruiting,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
They took the exact same resume, right? The only thing they switched was black or white, right? Why the person that got white on their paper, why they get more
wow.
calls back? To, you know,
Yeah,
I'm not in, you know what I'm saying, to say this and that, but
yeah,
as we all know. And I like how we're now with moving forward in life, especially with having God in your life, there is no color.
All
You know
right.
what I'm saying? When you, like with me, I don't go and see, you know what I'm saying? It's like how where some people are, you know, fearful of, you know what I'm saying, like whether it's different types of people, this and that, right? Like me, I guess me, I go into it where I'm like, hey God, we going this way. And you know what I'm
All
saying?
right.
And it's like where, because you know, I like with my talks with God, I'm like, you know, sometimes to the best of my abilities, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
To the best of my mental capabilities and my thoughts. From like, God, I don't know if this is right. You know what I'm saying? I even there's times like where I'm like, man, I can't hear God's voice. And I'll try to really think like the what would Jesus do, you know?
Yeah.
And it's like where, you know, but I'll be like, God, hey, I think this is what I'm supposed to do. I'm about to go through it, and God, He'll bring people of different,
Yeah.
you know, nationalities, ethnics, and stuff like that. So I've always been like multicultural,
Wow.
but it's like where I'd say it's a stigma that where
Yeah.
black's supposed to stick with black, because if you look at like in our community, right, it's like where we're constantly tearing each other down, depending on which hello. See, that's the fans. They're tapping to the screen.
Oh,
They're
are
like,
they?
"Hey, yo, we look. Hey, make sure y'all like, share, and
I
subscribe."
didn't know. I didn't know you have that kind of phone.
Yeah, man. Oh, this
The
this the
the
new
new Tesla phone.
yeah, the new Tesla. I'm telling you, it's a cyber truck, bro.
Yeah. Bro, you know what? So, all that stuff, you bring up so many interesting points and so many facets, like being, black, but being, but not enough, and I sometimes I feel like that too, like being Asian, you're not Asian enough, but you're not American enough either, and
Yeah,
so you're like, you don't fit in anywhere. And I'm like, wow, I didn't know you feel that way too,
yeah, yup. I
and
got
so,
the
and one
same
other thing
thing.
is that, man, when you start this walk with God, there's no judgment. It doesn't matter.
Yes,
Not even about, the way you look, your status or anything. And
right.
nowadays, people are very subtle on the way they treat you as far as your status go.
Mhm.
Especially, sometimes most in the monk community, I see it a lot, where if you are not certain, you don't have certain status,
Yup.
they'll look down on you, just because of the status. And when I came to TC, that was one of the biggest things, refreshing things, was like, you know what? It doesn't matter who you are, what your status is, or how much you have in your bank account. We're gonna love you anyways. In fact,
Exactly.
we're gonna love you even more because you've been down that road, that broken road. And so, um, that prejudgment is big. Because when you grew up with that and you're like, man, are they gonna judge me or not? But when that gets wiped out clean, you're like, wow, I could be myself.
Yeah, exactly. That part, bro. It feels so good. It was
Yeah.
like, all right, like the whole letting your guards down and this and that. Like when you got God with you, it's like where you don't have to have up this wall,
Yeah.
it's it feels like really good. Like it's always good to still be aware, but
Yeah.
like where I know it's like for sometimes you can become hyper aware where everything, a squirrel move your
Yeah.
this is
You
like
know what, bro? You honestly, if you don't have, like, I will say that I was heading that way, where you get like really, and that would have drove my addiction too, because to cure all that, I would have medicated with drugs or alcohol,
Mhm.
but because the world was getting crazier and I was getting to the point where you didn't want to get judged by anybody. If they look at you the wrong way, you're like, why is this person judging me? You get super sensitive, like you were saying. But I'm glad that I'm on this side now, because now I don't feel that way, because only
Yeah.
one person could really matters to me. And so what I've learned is that as much as I love people, and it's great to be surround yourself with people, great people that's gonna, you know, encourage you and walk in the light and walk that way and be inspired. But people, I would tell you, people are always like this, bro.
Hmm.
And and that's fine. I'm like that too. But with God, bro, it's just like boom, what I see is just like this all the time.
Yes, it's
Constant, bro. Like
yeah,
every day it's constant. With people, you get people like this.
yeah. It depends on their mood,
Yeah,
how
yeah,
they're
and I get that way
feeling.
too, because I'm at the end of the day, I'm a
Yeah,
person. I'm a
yeah,
human
we're
being.
still human.
Yeah, and so you know what? So the thing is that, yeah, you gotta allow that. You gotta allow that and be like Jesus, have that grace for on people. Be like, he or she's having a bad day. It's okay, as long as they
Yeah.
don't live in that area, and they, and you try to encourage them. But I don't put my hopes and dreams in people anymore.
Yeah, that part.
They don't
Yeah.
make me happy, or they don't make me sad, because I know that God is where I'm looking up to. He'll always be there. I'll try to support the people in my life as much as I could when they're going through things, but I know at the end of the day, I'm not going to hang my hat on how a certain person feels.
Yeah.
And I think that was big on me, because I used to do that. I used to say, hey, you know what, maybe, especially when you grew up with a low self-esteem, when people are down, you're like, is it my fault, that they're acting that way?
Yeah, like
And
kind of
so,
like judging yourself or
yeah, and
putting it
that's
on you
not,
when
bro,
it's
that's not healthy at all.
yeah.
And so when I came to that's, I realized, you know what, I can only live the way God wants me to live, and I look up to Him. People will always be people. So I don't, when certain people do things, I don't get disappointed. I don't know if that's a word, but I don't,
No, that's real. That's
yeah, I
you hit
don't,
it on the head with that
yeah.
one.
So when you kind of have these, you know what to expect, you don't feel let down anymore. You're like, okay, we could work with this. And that's just part of living and being fulfilled in this kingdom, is that certain things in your life, you don't have to deal with it emotionally. You know that God's got it.
Exactly. You know he gonna fix it. He
Yeah.
gonna
And
be there.
so it doesn't matter if your wife or your husband, they're having a bad day. We expect that, put that in the plans. I'm not going to be this every day, but you know what, it's okay at the end of the day, because I'm just me. I'm a human, and to rely on God, and to not have all that issue, stuff in that issue, because if you keep doing that, number one, your health is going to go down, and number two, you're just living a life that's not worth living when you're worrying all the time and living.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
And so,
lose what, like I think it's like a day or something like that every time you worry or something like that.
yeah. So I think that that's one of the biggest thing, is that, yes, I love people. I love being around people and inspiring people, that people help me grow and encouraging me, and I encourage them. People of God, people that walk in, this walking every day. But
Yeah.
at the same time, love them when they're going through all those stuff, because they will go through it. I will go through it. And I pray and I tell them to be with me, help me along the way too, So expect those things. Don't just be like, okay, they're having a bad day, I'm going to have a bad day too. Because if you do that, then you guys are not going anywhere. You end up just digging yourself deeper. And so that's what I've learned through my walk with TC. I mean, up here, is that people are going to disappoint. No matter what, God's still going to be there.
Exactly. Every time, like where,
Yeah.
I know that if I can't depend on people, I'm like, God, he right there every
Yeah.
time.
and
Like,
and bro, I think that that's what we need, and that's what sometimes that's what's missing in our life, is that constant. And nobody on earth here could provide that. And that's
mm-hmm.
why we're always searching for the next best thing to fill it up with. And
Yeah.
that's why a lot of us, we fill it up with stuff that we're not supposed to.
Mm-hmm.
and
Yeah.
and it works one time, and you're like, okay, it works, let's do it again. And then it works
Yeah.
again, but then you got to keep fulfilling that up and doing it, and it keeps working. After a while, you're just like, I'll just do it every day.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. And then it becomes an issue, and then here we are. And so I think that, what we've learned from that, and what we could tell people, is that, yeah, take those in stride, but it's going to be okay at the end of the day, because God, he's there for you. And
Yeah.
so when you have all that, you don't want to go back to all that other stuff.
Yeah. For
You're like,
real.
oh, okay, I don't want to do that anymore, because I was miserable doing that. It was just. And when you realize that, you want to stay on this side.
Yeah.
That's why the drinking and going to the bar and stuff like that, it's kind of like tarnishing for me, because I've got something better. You
Yeah.
know, like, I
Yeah.
got something better. Why would I go to that?
Yeah.
So there's a old girl analogy, but I don't know if I
Yeah.
should use it. Should I?
Yeah.
Like an
Hey, go
so,
ahead.
like, you find a girl, right? And then you're like, this girl is treating you a certain way, and
Yeah.
they're like, and then you're like, man, but she's always there. She's beautiful, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then you're like, then you come over here, you find a girl that's different. You're like, and you
Yeah.
can't believe that, and you don't want to go back to that anymore.
Right. You want to be treated
Yeah,
better when
but
you. Yeah.
you know what, bro? What the thing is, that you realize that, you know what, like, just a month or 2 months ago, I used to share everything with that person. And
Yeah.
that's kind of like our addiction. I used to drink and rely on that so much through my dark times. And
Yeah.
now I walk by that person or that bottle, and I don't
Mm.
even, I can't believe that used to be
Right.
the used to be everything in my life.
Exactly.
You know, that's how I feel like, you know, if we could use
Yeah.
that analogy, you know, I'm like, wow, I share so much. Every like little secret I share with that bottle. But
Mhm.
now I just look at it and like, I found something better. I can't believe I used to share so
Yeah,
much with
it's like
that.
looking back at it like an ex, like where it's like I can't believe I used to,
Yeah.
be there like that. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? It's
But at the same time, you're in the back of your mind, you're thinking like, we share so much. We, you know, at that point, at that time, you felt like that was your world. That was
yeah.
everything. But now you're like, wow, I can't believe it
Mm.
used to be that way. You know,
Yeah.
don't you feel it like that
Yeah. Oh
sometimes?
yeah, I agree 1,000%. Yeah.
Yeah. And so you're like, wow, I had this powerful thing. I didn't think I was gonna I could live without it, but yet
Yeah.
I found something better, and I don't want to go back to that. When you make that realization, then that's when you realize that, you know what, as much as that over here is shiny,
Hmm.
it's just shiny to the people that haven't seen this, you know? It's only
Yeah.
shiny to these people, but it's not shiny to me. And
Yeah.
so that's why they're like asking, like, don't you have cravings? I'm like, I'm aware of it, but it's not shiny anymore. You know, God
Right.
is shinier. Yeah,
Exactly.
so the that's the best way I could put it, is that that's why I walk into a bar and now it doesn't do much for me. I was
Mm.
scared that before, like when I started my walk in TC, I was scared that if I go back, what if it comes back? But it never did, because I found something better. I've seen something shiny over here that God has. And you know what, bro? This over here, I don't have
Yeah.
to keep replenishing it, bro.
Yeah.
I don't have
For
to
real.
like, yeah, I don't have to pay the price of like getting up all hungover,
Yeah, for
headaches and
real.
stuff like
Oh
that.
man.
Yeah, this is constant and I will feel every day. And you
And
know
it's
what?
pure.
Yeah, but
Like,
this over here, yeah, one night it might be good, right?
you're right.
You know, and I'm not gonna lie, through my addiction, it was good. I had fun, but it wasn't like fulfilling. It
Right.
was just like, oh, I had one, it was good, but tomorrow I have to do it again. And you got to keep
Yeah.
doing that over and over again. And then eventually you're like,
Yeah.
I,
Starts to eat away.
yeah, bro, you're like,
Like,
I can't do this no more, bro.
right, for real. Like, I
I
used to
can't.
get the shakes,
Yeah,
bro, and I'd be sitting there, I can't move.
yeah,
It's crazy because like,
yeah,
and it's crazy like how we're, I'll see like an ad where it's drink responsibly. In my head, every time I'm like, there is no responsible way to drink. I'm like,
yeah,
you drink that, you're gonna die.
yeah, bro. Um, I think, yeah, that's funny. Yeah, those ads are misleading, bro.
Right, it's like where it's like a culture thing, like because
Yeah,
it's like because like I love America, you know what I'm saying? It's
yeah,
like where it's like free, it's freedoms and
yeah,
stuff like that. Some people they can drink responsibly,
yeah,
like where they can have their wine and they know how to do it. But like for me, like me and my family, I didn't know that alcoholism was hereditary.
yeah,
You know what I'm saying? It's like where like so like my family like they would mention it, but nobody ever listens. It
yeah,
wasn't until like it started going like like I got a therapist and you know what I mean, and
yeah,
talking about these different things. They're like, wait, hold on, you were an alcoholic, your mom was an alcoholic, your dad was an alcoholic. Just hold on, I'm starting to see a trend here. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? And it's like where this the proof is there where it's able to like how where you're more likely to get addicted to
yeah,
something if you've done it. Like
yeah,
how we're God willing one day like when I have kids, like I'll be able to tell them like, hey, look, they might rap about it in this song, you might see it here, but to actually sit down and talk with them and bring awareness to it, like, hey, go show them what a crackhead. Hey, yo, it's your boy Benji. Thank you so much for tuning in again with another great episode with me, Free Lee. Please make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Please go add Lee, me Free Lee, on basically like all his platforms. Links are in the description below. We have more episodes coming for you. Thank you so much. It's been a blessing, even in the whole process of creating all this. Like, this is just episode 2. So thank you. Hey, yo, it's your boy Benji. I'm outie.